Hi, thank you for joining us here at Tax Talk UK, where we talk about all things tax and other important aspects of working for yourself and your self-employment. So today I'm going to answer a technical question on within your MTD software. If your customer has overpaid you, how should you handle this? Before I talk about that, if I could please ask you to take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll easily be able to refer back to this information if you need to, as well as being able to find out a whole host of other information that we have available, all aimed at supporting you in your digital journey and indeed with your self-employment and running your small business. So back to today's topic then. So your customer has overpaid you, and what should you do? One common confusion is what do you issue to your customer to reflect this? So the thing to think about, and we're specifically talking about in the software, because of course when you are keeping your manual accounts, it's easier to see what you need to do. So we're talking about in your Making Tax Digital software, and the thing to do is to look at your customer's account once you've added the transactions, and then this helps you to work through the process and what actually needs to happen. So you've issued your customer an invoice, say for £100, for example, and they've actually paid you £150. So there's different approaches that you can take for dealing with this. Of course, you could just simply leave the £50 credit on their account, and the next time, if for example the next invoice is for £100, then of course they've already in effect paid £50 of this, and they'll only owe you a further £50. So if we talk about leaving the credit, this can cause some confusion where sometimes people feel that they need to raise a credit note. So of course, if you did raise a credit note, then you would see that this is going to reduce the amount that the customer owes you by twice as much, because they've already paid you extra, and then by giving a credit note, you are effectively giving them the same amount back. So this is duplicating the credit on their account. So if you are choosing to leave the credit on their account and for them to apply that against a future invoice, then you don't need to issue anything. You certainly don't issue a credit note. If your customer wanted to see how much the credit was and how it had risen and how the figure had been arrived at, say for example, if there was lots of transactions on the account, lots of invoices, lots of payments, and the customer wasn't quite clear on how the specific value of the amount their account was in credit had been arrived at, then you could simply issue your customer with an activity statement that shows all of the invoices, all of the payments, and then they would be able to see how you'd arrived at that figure. So that's if we're leaving the account in credit. And of course, alternatively, you could simply refund your customer the overpayment. So you would physically make the payment from their bank, and depending on your MTD software, some of the software providers and depending on which package you have, may have the function where you can simply process a customer refund, and so that's really easy. If there is no function within your software, then it's still possible to enter the transaction by making an adjustment in your software. So if you're finding this kind of level of action a little bit confusing and you're not understanding what transactions you need to do, then I would suggest that you probably should be engaging the the support of someone professional to support you with this. And of course, as I always say, I must stress, if you are engaging someone to help you, then please do make sure that they're qualified for what you're engaging them for, that they're a member of a professional body if appropriate, and that they hold professional indemnity insurance. If you generally understand the principle, but you're just not sure how to enter that one thing in your Making Tax Digital software, then if you go to your software providers support centre, they should be able to give you the instructions for that. If we don't have that on our own playlist here at Tax Talk UK. So hopefully that helps you to understand the options available to you if your customer overpays, and of course as to whether it's best to issue a refund or whether it's best to leave a credit on the account, that's really an individual decision. It will depend on lots of things, not least as to what your customer would prefer, and of course how often you invoice that customer, because what you don't really want is to have lots of credits left on your accounts for a long time, because it makes it harder to reconcile the accounts and make sure that they're all correct, and of course things can get easily forgotten in time. So your two options are either to leave the account as a credit on your customer's account, but don't issue anything other than a statement if you need to document it, or refund the figure back to your customer and make the adjustment in your software so that your customer account reflects. So ultimately that is the important thing, that whichever option you choose, once it's all done, that the customer's account correctly reflects whether it's in credit or whether it's clear if it's been refunded. So hopefully that helps you. Please do remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.